How's practice been this week?
It was awesome, both days. Thought the guys' energy really good, execution. There was a good physical amount of practice yesterday. It was a good work day. I'd call it complete practice.
You've mentioned that I think a couple of times. Was this one of the more complete practices that you've seen this season, and for what's a good test on Saturday?
Yeah, I think yesterday was for sure. Today we went out in spiders, a little bit different, but the guys handled it very well. A lot of red zone, third down stuff. It was good.
You mentioned yesterday, Tuesday, Wednesday's practice were going to be big for a lot of key players.
Yeah.
We saw Kyron Bashel. They looked like they were running
Yep.
fine. Mansour, are you pleased with where some of those guys are?
I think all three of them have a good chance from what I saw yesterday and today. Tomorrow doesn't tell us much because it's walkthrough mode for us. Friday will be the big day. But I think to this point, the progression, I'm pleased with that. Are any of them ready to play yet? No, but we don't have to be ready yet.
How much do you have to weigh, like the want to play them versus their long-term health and making sure?
No question. Well, that's first. Their health is number one. We don't want to, the medical staff wouldn't have it that way anyways, and nor would I. But you got to put these guys' long-term health first, and whether it's practice, whether it's a game, they all want to play. And that's always the case, and I love that. They're determined, they want to play, but in the end, it's that medical staff that makes the decision. Are these guys cleared or not? And then as a coaching staff, it's are they going to play well enough for us to win with? They're cleared, but have they had enough practice? Have they had enough work? Is their technique where it needs to be? Is it to go out there and win with?
Saw Sam in the blue jersey. Saw George Balance, I guess, move up a run to work on that second team. How confident are you with Balance, and is Sam close to being ready to go?
Yeah, I think Sam will be okay. It's kind of precautionary. He got more work today than yesterday. I would say he's probable. I feel like he'll be able to go. Sam's a tough guy, and in the end, it'll be up to the docs. But he wants to go, and he got good mental reps. He's logged a lot of experience. George has bounced back and forth from the scout team field to the varsity field all year, so he's gotten some quality reps if we need them.
One of the other, Steven Gosnell was in blue too. We talked to him after the game, and he seemed fine, but he's one of those guys that feels like he can play through anything.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe that. Knock on wood. You got to slow him down when he's in blue. He's diving for catches, and he's putting himself up for contact. And I got to remind everybody he's in blue for a reason. That means no contact. But he's had 2 really good days.
What impressed you the most about his consistency on Saturday?
Yeah, I tell you, he's just so clutch. He's very, very reliable. He's proven that over the course of 2 years, to be honest. And, he does a lot of different things for us. He lines up a lot of different places. He does a lot of different things with his route combinations. He's a good blocker on the perimeter, smart player, and he's got great ball skills. I'm excited about the year he's having, and, he needs to have another big game for us.
You've seen this season, like, the offensive scheme has kind of evolved a bit with some option element. You're getting different guys in different positions to use them. What have you liked about the way Tyler and his staff have implemented some of the stuff that sprinkled it in to give teams different looks?
Yeah, I think it makes it hard on defenses. When you can use the whole field, number one. Number two, when you make defenses be disciplined, who has the zone, who is the quarterback, who is the pitch. That's challenging. And I think mixing it up and incorporating some of that with the type of skill we have should help us.
I think Colby or David asked you yesterday about their quarterback club. We didn't ask about Phil Moffa, the running back.
So, I'm sorry, say that again?
Their running back, Moffa. What have you noticed in him and what he brings to their offense?
Yeah, first of all, his size. He's got elite size for the position. He never gets knocked back. He's always spinning and twisting and falling forward. He's got a lot of yards already, tough yards for a bunch of them. He's solid out of the backfield. I think they're getting everything they want out of him.
What's the gauge you just took from the captain's meeting, and how important is that for you to do ahead of matchups like this?
Yeah, I mean, you have some messaging, and you have your team meetings where you hope as a head coach that what you're trying to get across is resonating with the guys, and the captains are a great sounding board for that. Are we going down the right road with the approach? Where's our confidence level? Everything from something as minor as the uniform to the team morale to are there any issues with the way we're operating as an organization? Are there any issues in our locker room? And we've got a good group of captains that have been good for me this year.
He asked you about Mafa. When you went back and looked at, watched film from Saturday about the run defense, what stood out in your eyes about the way you guys kind of defended Allen?
Yeah, I thought in spurts we were pretty good. You look at the runs and you break down each one that's over 3 yards, right? And you look at it, because to me, if it's more than 3, it's too much. And you look at it and what was it? And how'd the front play it? How'd the second level play it? Was it fits? Was it tackling? Was it just a little bit of an angle or leverage? Everything in the run game. I mean, you could have a second level player lined up a half a man too wide or a half a man too close, and all of a sudden he doesn't have the angle he needs to be to block to make the play. I wish we were more consistent. We need to be. I think this week will be a good challenge for us again. We've been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. We've had some really good weeks, and we've had some weeks where we haven't defended the run well enough.
Clemson's defense, they've got some really good linebackers. What stands out in your eyes?
Yeah, their linebackers run. They're fast. They're long. I think they run well in the back end, period. And they got great size up front, elite size. This is a pretty staunch group.
We're talking to Jeremiah here. What was your? Obviously, he had a couple pretty big runs there for you. But what was your message to him after the fumble? Just kind of keeping his head up.
Yeah, you never want to see a fumble, ever, right? And both those fumbles in the ball game, they had the ball low, and we worked so hard on keeping it high and tight. A low ball is susceptible, but both of those kids were given tremendous effort. Not just on those particular plays, but in general. So I was proud of his effort. Obviously, there was a piece to it that he could clean up and be better for. Hopefully, they both learn a lesson as far as ball security in those situations when you're fighting for those extra yards. We had one happen with Kyron earlier in the year, an extra effort play. And sometimes when you're doing that, man, the attention on the ball has to be, even greater because you're exposing yourself at times a little bit differently than just a straight-on run. So, but I'm pleased with Jeremiah. He's always been one of the tougher kids in our program. He's very physical. He's got a quick step, and he's been determined. He's been buried on the bottom of the depth chart at times, and he just keeps finding a way to make some plays. So,
you mentioned yesterday about Clemson's offensive line and how much of a veteran group that is.
Yeah.
Aeneas played against them last year.
That's right.
Does that help that he's heard their calls at the line of scrimmage and kind of knows their tendencies that you don't really see on film to really help with preparing for them?
Yeah, I think there's a level of comfort. Just like when you play a team a couple years in a row, you kind of get a feel for their identity, what they're about, their personnel. So there'll be a level of comfort for him. They've discussed it in the D-line room, just, what, those traits are for those returning O-linemen that Clemson has. Because it's a good group. It's an older group. It's a good group. 4 of the 5 have played together and played a bunch of starts in that group. If it's not the best O-line we've seen, it's certainly right there with it.
You guys got one or two more? Yeah. In terms of, you guys call them deceptives, obviously we asked you a lot about your offensive ones. The one Syracuse ran at the beginning of overtime, is that something you guys talk about in terms of,
yeah, so we
rarely, but what you can do better in those situations?
Yeah, we hadn't seen that one. We weren't lined up. ideal to the formation they presented, and then they shifted, which was a nice touch to it. We just didn't line up as well as we needed to, which was disappointing. We had, they gave us one earlier in the game, and we lined up really nicely and defended it well. But that's also, did they have a chance to identify what we're going to look like, and they come back and think they found something they liked. But most folks, just like we do, you're going to have some kind of unique, a couple of unique formations or plays in the red zone to try and get in the end zone.